to another episode of Pop Matters. I'm your host, Professor Lincoln Geraghty, and each episode we look at popular culture matters and if they matter. From comics to sci-fi, all things fan-based. This time I have joining me Dr. Emma Austin, Senior Lecturer and Course Leader for Film Studies. Hello. John Caro, Principal Lecturer in the School of Film, Media and Creative Technologies. Hello.
Hello.
Dr. Kerr, Senior Lecturer in Creative Writing.
Hello.
And Pheobe Holden, MA Illustration Student in the School of Art, Architecture and Design. Now in this episode we'll be discussing Portsmouth Comic Con, the Director's Cut. We have covered Portsmouth Comic Con before in Pop Matters, and some of you may recognise one or two of our guests from previous episodes. Everyone here today participated in this year's events and will no doubt let us know how much fun it was. Comic Con has gone from strength to strength since the first one in 2018, with over 9,000 fans flocking back to Portsmouth this year, a real record-breaking number. It was certainly a brilliant event for me. I was lucky enough to interview actors from Doctor Who again on the main stage. 2026 special guests were Anita Dobson, who played Mrs. Flood, or the Rani, in the most recent series, and Gemma Redgrave, who plays Kate Lethbridge-Stewart, for a number of seasons now. For those unable to attend, let's show a short highlight video that will give us a flavour of what took place.
Day to day, I'm recording voices for shows and games and movies all over the world for things like Scooby-Dooby-Doo, like man, it's really creepy, Scooby pal. So I worked with a really nice guy called George Lucas, who is the guy that created Star Wars. So when you watch Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, in the Senate scene, you'll see this guy. His name is Axe Mo, and I'm the voice of Axe Mo, so you hear me say, "The Congress of Malastare concur with the right honourable delegate of the Trade Federation. A commission must be appointed now."
I'm Mikan Tsunuki from Dragon Ball.
I'm Mitsuri from Demon Slayer.
And why do you girls like coming to Comic Con?
It's just like a way to express ourselves here. We don't get like bullied here, so it's nice.
It's fun to meet people who are into the same stuff as us.
Now, as you can see, a whole weekend of fun and pop culture celebration. As we've been discussing, the university was a huge presence at the convention with panels, speakers and workshops, all on display. Our students were front and centre, and I think there was many of those staff who are here today across a range of subjects who were able to discuss their research and display their fan credentials. But first I want to go round to see what our guests got up to on the weekend. They could give us a little rundown of the activities they led and participated in. John, I'll go to you first. What did you do and how much fun was it?
Oh, it was loads of fun. I was on a couple of panels. We did a panel celebrating the 40th anniversary of Aliens, which I worked on, but I don't like to talk about it. And it was also the 35th anniversary Terminator 2, which I was watching just the other night. And we did a panel about Watchmen and Dark Knight Returns. Dennis the Menace turned 75, so there was all sorts of exciting panels. I went to one on comic book artists who spent about 30 minutes talking about the different pen nibs that they use. That was probably my favourite.
Gets really
That's
geeky.
probably you liked it. It was my favourite panel, yeah.
Yeah. Phoebe, as a student, how did you participate and what excited you?
I did the workshop in the evening,
where we made comic books with pre-made panels. And we gave it out to like kids and their parents and anyone who showed up really.
Yeah.
I was a full house.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we thought it would be like completely. So it's like right at the end. So.
But you know, turning out for comic books because you know that.
Well, that's the big one. I mean,
Yeah.
there was like 2 cool comic book workshops, but thankfully everyone came to one.
Yeah. So as a student, what did you get out of it, as well as being a fan and an illustrator? How did you sort of, as a student, approach the event?
I was all there for business. I came
Yeah.
up in a suit. I had my business cards ready. Straight to Artist Alley. I started talking to everyone.
Excellent, excellent.
I had a whole bit where I'd ask, "Oh, what's your favorite hat?" And they'd start talking, and then I'd give them my business card with their hat that they liked.
Wow.
Like,
Excellent. So you had a strategy
I had a whole
approaching those artists.
business plan. Everything.
That's brilliant. Nice one. Emma, what did you do and how did you participate and how much fun was it for you?
Well, like John, I was on quite a few panels. So
Yeah.
we had the Watchmen Dark Knight Returns panel. I was also with my fantastic colleague Rebecca and other people talking about the impact of Scream and kind of the legacy of Scream on postmodern horror. I think possibly one of my favourite panels was, and again, it's always led by students, was our student panel at the end of the first day, the Marvel versus DC battle.
It was a bit of a ruction, didn't it?
It was a spirited exchange of views.
It
I
was.
think is the politically correct way to put it. Which is always brilliant just to see our students kind of showing their expertise, their knowledge, their fandom, and
Yeah.
I think that was really, really enjoyable. And like you, I spent some time on Artist Alley, and I was particularly talking to Alison Sampson, an artist. She's recently doing some of the artwork for some of my favourite new horror comics,
Really?
the new EC line there. That's her cover there. That's
Excellent,
very kind
yeah.
design for me. And we had a fantastic chat about kind of the function of horror in modern comics and the role of women in horror in
Sure.
comics as well.
Yeah.
So that's something I want to follow up on with her in the future
That's
and with
brilliant.
other artists too.
And just say, yeah, a lot of the props and objects here were bought at Comic Con. Might go through some of them in a bit. But Callie then, panels.
Yes. So I was with John on the panel for Aliens and Terminator 2. Obviously, John, were you on Aliens?
Oh, have I mentioned that? I don't know if I mentioned that. But that come up?
John and others on the panel coming to it with a lot of knowledge and insight. I was coming as a fan, and being quite contrary as I usually am, putting opposing views. But we had it was a really good panel. We enjoyed that. I was on another panel talking about the new wave of science fiction from the 1960s. Writers like Michael Moorcock, Philip K. Dick, J.G. Ballard, and the way in which science fiction changed at that point and became much more representative of satirizing the current society than just being maybe a little bit more idealistic back in the golden age. So that was fun. And then on the Sunday, yes, I turned up in full Jodie Whittaker 13th Doctor cosplay, made John stop mid-sentence while he was talking because he thought Jodie had arrived. Very pleased with that. And hosted a Doctor Who panel, which, given the state of Doctor Who at the moment, was titled Who's Next? Because we are in a limbo and we know nothing. And so, we managed to generate an entire panel out of wild speculation.
Complete speculation.
Which was, just made it up as we went along.
Some of it might turn out to be true.
Yes, who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows who's next? But yes, and we had 2 students on the panel who this was, for one of them, it was their 3rd year doing the panel.
Wow, they're veterans.
Another for their 2nd year.
Brilliant.
The student for whom it was their 3rd year was very sad that it was going to be their last, but obviously alumni can take part as well. So we can always potentially invite him back in the future.
Once at Comic Con, always at Comic Con.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of course, then just wandering the con, enjoying all the costumes, the variations. I loved the variations of Batman this year.
Yeah.
Everything from somebody essentially wearing Batman pajamas right up to the full 3D printed costumes, battle armor, and that kind of thing. And thanks to Emma's panel, having to go and spend an awful lot of money with Alison Sampson buying one of her graphic novels.
Brilliant.
So yeah, always good and always a lot to take away.
Yeah, and there is that connection with the artists. Just in the run-up, just to sort of say, in the run-up to Comic Con, we held a few events on campus, the University of Portsmouth. We had a fringe event where researchers, all 3 of you here, presented. Presented on sort of the theme of future visions and past warnings, and you presented on comics. Flash Fiction, and EC, right? So we had that on the Wednesday before Comic Con, and on the Friday, because just I'm a nerd, and it's the Transformers 1986 animated movie 40th anniversary. I forced everyone to watch the film. I did a little intro to that, and we had really nice, one of the artists that appeared at Comic Con, Lee Sullivan, and David Bailey, who hosts the artists, come and talk about his experience working on the comic, which I know you found quite useful because he's also done things like Judge Dredd, and he's worked in the business for decades.
Did you do a panel on Transformers?
And oh yes, my
You haven't
Transformers
mentioned your panel.
No, that's true. So Transformers, we did a sort of celebration on the movie again. We even got complete experts on the movie like John to sit on it, who knew his Optimus Prime from his Megatrons. I think so. And also, you're right, Kelly. Research is central, and we also use Comic Con as a bit of research tool for ourselves. Some viewers might see this QR code on the table here. We asked all our audiences at our panels to give us feedback using the QR code to, and I think at the workshops as well, to say, what did you get out of it? What did you really enjoy? Give some ideas for panels and workshops next year. What's its impact been on you? And what's Comic Con's impact been on you? So I think that's really important because we do have strong ties to the Guildhall Hall. It is very much a research project going through for the next 3-4 years. And it supports all our own individual researching in pop culture and comics and all things sort of sci-fi nerdiness. So yeah, that's what I got up to. And I did buy a few things, a couple of G.I. Joe figures, £55. I thought that was a steal. A tenner for the one in the front. You bought some comics, Emma. So yeah, we've got some stuff there. So thanks for that, and clearly very enjoyable. Next, I want to talk about why Comic Cons are so important. Obviously, Portsmouth Comic Con, as we've said, is crucial. But I wonder what people's ideas are about why Comic Cons are important spaces for fans, for industry. Phoebe, obviously, you talked about going out and meeting the artists. So what is it about this convention or any others like it that you feel really makes it a vital event for industry, for fans, for artists, for academics? So I'll go around. So I'll start with you, Emma. Why is Comic Con, do you think, an important venue for all of this celebration?
I think the significant thing it's always about exchange in a very open and welcoming and friendly space.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not about being an expert. It's about being a fan and sharing that with other people, and maybe having some of my views challenged or being told about new stuff that I just simply don't know about. So that idea of knowledge exchange, I think, is really, really significant. And I think particularly with Portsmouth Comic Con, and this is something that's been commented on quite a lot, there is that really fantastic integration of talking about the art of comic books and really centering artists and writers, which I think is important.
Yeah.
It's not just about the films and it's not just about the merch. It's about setting up that community and that experience. And so many of the artists were willing to talk to people and to exchange ideas and kind of
They
give
love it,
people
mixing with everyone, don't they?
yeah. It's always that really, really fantastic feeling of everybody enjoying themselves, but also learning as well.
Yeah. Kelly, your thoughts then? You sort of talked about cosplay, and there's an important element.
Yeah.
And you're a writer yourself, you're a creative.
Yeah,
person.
absolutely.
So how important is Comic Con as a venue?
Oh, I think incredibly positive. I mean, I grew up in the 1980s. I was a massive nerd,
Yeah.
and at that point, there was no community you could be part of. It was looked down on very often. And now things like Comic-Con, you can find your tribe, you can find your people.
Yeah.
You walk in, you're immediately smiling as you recognise various costumes. When I was there on the Sunday in my cosplay, I got stopped half a dozen times for people to take photos. Somebody was collecting as many doctors as they could, and on the Sunday I was the only 13th. I saw a few on the Saturday, but on the Sunday I was alone. But also then for us as academics, you get into the panels, and it's great to actually have a really deep discussion about a topic with your colleagues, which maybe we sometimes don't have time to in the working day. But also because you have the audience, they will ask questions that you would never have thought of, and all of a sudden you're having to think about your topic in a way that you would never have done on your own. Their questions are prompting new thoughts, new ideas, perhaps new areas of research, because they've highlighted something for themselves, and it's you would not in any other forum get that kind of input. People feel safe to ask the
Yeah.
questions because of the nature of Comic Con.
Breaks down those barriers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and absolutely, and it's important. You know, it's in the centre of Portsmouth.
Yeah.
You get your wristband, you can come and go, and people leave and come back. There was an after party for
Yeah.
Comic Con. I may have been dancing late into the night
What
with
happens
people
at the
in
after parties?
in full cosplay, and everybody's interacting in that way. But
Yeah.
it becomes part of the city, not just part of the community of people going to Comic Con.
Yeah, and it is important for the sort of lifeblood of the city, and Guildhall being at the centre, literally at the centre of the town.
Yeah.
So it sort of brings people from all parts of the town and further afield as well, international guests and people travelling. Phoebe, you mentioned the sort of importance for a student making connections to artists. How do you feel Comic Con works as a sort of special venue?
I think it's a great thing.
Yeah.
Everyone who I ask like their opinions. Oh, it's great for the community.
Yeah.
Say you go to like a London film, it's massive, so many people, you're gonna like not see the same person twice. But somewhere like Portsmouth, not only is it so accessible for people around the area, spending $1 million on like travel.
Yes.
You can immediately just go talk to people. I met like the same person 3 times, and every time the interaction was better than the last.
Right.
And it was just great for that connection.
Yeah. So lasting friendships can come out of a convention.
Yeah. Yeah, it's better than online even, because online you don't have to do something I bought or
Yeah. It's nice to meet people in the flesh once in a while, isn't it?
It's great.
Yeah. And so your work, and this is some illustrations, some samples of your own work here on the table. So as a student doing illustration at the moment at the University of Portsmouth, probably coming up to crunch time with assessments and various things.
I mean, I've still got to September.
Okay, you've got a bit of time. So how did working, as you said, running a workshop like you did for fans help towards your study and your understanding of the subject?
Well, I want to make my own comic company one
Yeah,
day.
okay.
I want to be able to publish my own and other people's comics.
Great.
So meeting the people that actually want to make the comics, I think, is great. And also, to get to where I want to be, run a bunch of workshops in the future, just to get to know the community as an indie comic publisher.
And have a table maybe at a future Comic Con.
100%, I'm back. This is my first Comic Con actually. So
First ever Comic Con?
I used to live out in the boonies. There's nothing. So
Portsmouth's not the boonies, at least.
At least the big city.
Yeah, sure. So your first ever Comic Con.
First ever was a great experience. Yeah, I want to go back, and next year I'll keep going back every year.
Yeah, well, certainly we'll have you running workshops. Yeah. So you're not originally from Portsmouth.
No, I lived in Lower Worthing. Like a few 30 minutes on the train.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's brilliant. So first ever Comic Con, I'm amazed at it. But actually, I've heard that throughout the weekend, and a lot of other students who are participating, this is their first Comic Con. So it's interesting, you got that real mix. Noobs, as we might call them, to the community, who again feel that it's a welcoming space, and people that have been there year on year, who can know other people, and it comes back again and again. You're not a noob, John, at comic conventions.
No.
You've been one just this previous weekend as well.
Yeah, I went to Lawless last weekend, which is very 2000 AD based.
Yeah, at Bristol.
At Bristol, yeah, lots of middle-aged old guys dodgering around.
Yeah. So how do you think a comic convention, but Portsmouth Comic Con is important, and what role does it perform?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I thought that was a really good point you said about the scale, that it's not, because I've been to some of the bigger ones, the MCM,
London,
Film Con, and I must admit, I do kind of find them a little bit, whoa, when you sort of first walk in and see the size of them. But Portsmouth is kind of a good size, and all the different little bits that you can wander around.
Yeah.
And staircases you can get lost on, things like that. So the scale of it, I think, is really good. And as Callie said, that thing of how it feels sort of quite welcoming, and that thing, like when I was a kid, thinking, oh, I'm the only person that likes comic books and watching the $6 Million Man, the Hulk, and then you go somewhere and you're like, oh, there's other people and they're dressed like those characters as well. So that was really important. And I think, and as Emma alluded to, and for yourself, is actually, it's so important, I think, that comic books, because that's my kind of interest, my sort of research interest, is comic books are so central and so sort of part of the event. You doing the workshops at Artist Alley, and I do worry sometimes. I think, as you said, sometimes we can forget about the kind of source material, and we've got a lot of adaptations and movies and TV shows, but it's the comic books that they came from. And I saw people going around showing, like yourself, showing their portfolios to artists and getting feedback and help. So hopefully, the next generation of artists and comic book creators are coming through. Someone at Lawless said to me, "Oh, it's such a shame those things don't happen anymore.
Yeah.
I don't see sort of potential creators, artists showing their work." And I was like, "Well, excuse me, it's happening in Portsmouth. I saw it happening last week."
Yeah, no, yeah.
So I think that's such an important role, that there's that interaction, like you were saying.
Yeah, I think you're right. A student in an MA class I was taking yesterday is studying MCM as a Comic Con venue. She's been going for a number of years and said it's far too big. It's getting massive, and you spend actually more time outside talking to your friends than actually being inside. Because it's just like you're squeezed up against people, and it's mainly merch. And the comic book artists slowly being sort of pushed to the side in a sort of smaller section of the con. But Artist Alley is first floor, main room in the Guildhall, dozens of tables. They're all there with all their colourful banners, aren't they? Tons of artwork that you can purchase, have signed, and just talk to them like you did, Phoebe. Say, how do I get into the industry? What's your greatest tips, isn't it? Did you get any good tips from any of the artists?
I think what I was doing was like declaring war.
I'm coming for your job.
I did. I was like, "Oh, you're retiring soon. Your place."
That's one way of doing it. I like it. Good. No, well, you've got to be assertive in this game, I suppose. But the fact that they're there and you can have absolutely that one-to-one dialogue across the table, and they don't mind, because they are there selling stuff. They do want to talk about this stuff, don't they?
Oh, they loved it.
Yeah. And you, I know, John, have been. This is a project. Your big book there.
Oh yeah, I've been nerding out, and every time I go to a Comic Con, I try and get different artists and writers and creators to give their autographs, and signatures and things. So I think I've got getting on for 100.
100, all squeezed in there.
Well, and the back page as well.
Okay.
So there's a couple I still want to get.
And they've not been at Portsmouth yet.
I haven't been to Portsmouth
Okay.
yet. Yeah, but I live in hope.
Well, I think, as a convention, expansion inevitably has to happen. Let's not hope it expands to where people are turned off by too many people and things are being squeezed out. But where could you see Comic Con going? What sort of maybe things we haven't done that we can maybe include next time?
Well, I mean, there is scope, I think, for moving outside the environs of the Guildhall. There's other locations nearby, even potentially using university space to do extra things.
Yeah.
But talking of expansion, they'd expanded us this year.
Yeah.
In
That's
past
true.
years, we had been in the small room on the third floor.
Yes.
But we kept filling it. I
Yeah.
still remember sitting there and watching Darth Vader and Doctor Who and Doc Brown standing against the back wall. And this year they put us in the council chamber.
That's right. Yes. Well remembered.
I got to talk about aliens while sitting in a throne, essentially. And that was, we were able to get that bigger audience. And it's interesting that our panels are kind of attracting audiences that the convention saw we needed more space. And there has been talk, and I think maybe moving outside of the environs of that, but also potentially, like we did, other events around it.
Yes.
Dedicated events for specific things, I think might be good.
No, you're right. I forgot to. Yeah, that was a real boon to us. We're promoted to the council chambers, which, if you ever get into the Guildhall, it's all sort of wood paneling, massive thrones, leather seats. It's where the council.
The little microphones
to sort of interject. That's where they make all the important decisions, like when bins will be collected in Portsmouth. But we were there talking about comics, movies, video games. important things that sort of change people's lives.
Bell in the corner, didn't you?
Yes, there was a bell we could ring. We should have done that more often.
We won't mention the tannoy.
Yeah, the tannoy system.
And there was also the commemoration at the end of the Gosport conflict,
Yes.
which I found quite
Yeah, we did spot on the last mayoral candidate presided over the thawing of conflict between Gosport and Portsmouth, which I didn't know we were at war at for the last 200-300 years. Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
Peace was declared, was it just a couple of years?
Yeah, 2024, we were at peace. Yeah, I think we should celebrate that more.
Yeah.
Things you find out within the council chambers. Yeah. But no, you're quite right. And I think Guildhall is absolutely wanting to sort of expand. And of course, next year, I know we've talked about already types of panels. Anniversaries coming up, Star Wars 1977, we've got 50 years.
2000 AD is 50 years old.
2000 AD. I'm sure, want to sort of appear again and run a workshop again for you?
100%.
Yeah. And the enthusiasm you got from the young people coming to your workshop, how would you bottle that?
It's kind of, we're just
strategy?
going around like, by the way, you should
Yeah, no, absolutely. And being cynical, but that's absolutely what people should think about those topics: creative writing, filmmaking, media studies, illustration, graphic design, you name it. We do that at the University of Portsmouth, so sign up. But no, you're right. And so you can then take that as a bit of experience, as you said, moving into your career.
Yeah, I mean, it inspired me watching all the kids like just create off the bat. That's what I'm missing.
Right.
Child,
Okay.
like, innocent youth, The
Yeah.
sincerity of it all.
So as a budding sort of comic book artist, what inspires you? What sort of stories, what sort of characters do you like drawing?
All my stuff is like Python-esque, so
Oh.
it's very just silly, everyday, stupid things I find. Inexperienced. Like once I was stuck at the train station and I missed my train because apparently the driver was fighting with all of the passengers. I've never heard that intercom before, but they were fighting. I don't know what.
Brings back memories. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Replacement bus, it was fine.
So real life, just silly situations.
Silly situations and mix it with like the modern era.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit of Looney Tunes.
Yeah. Wow.
The stick man, and that's it.
Looney
People
Tunes.
seem to like it.
No, absolutely. Looney Tunes and Python. You teach a bit of Python, don't you, in your comedy unit?
Monty Python, not coding. Yes.
Well,
just to clarify.
That's brilliant. Well, maybe we could have cross collaboration then.
Oh.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant.
So
So
that's an important thing, isn't it? That another thing, it makes it feel that much more accessible.
Yeah.
When you see, like again, some of the London ones, when there's big movie stars there, you're sort of looking at them from afar.
Yeah.
But with the comic book people, you can go and chat with them and talk to them, and then you think, this is something I could do.
I'm not going to get tackled by a bodyguard.
Yeah.
These are real people, and
It also happens with the panels. There was somebody that came to the audience for my Doctor Who panel who has been to my Doctor Who panels for the last 3-4 years. So I saw them outside and they were like, "Oh, I'm coming to your panel in a little while. I've got a really good question for you." And they'd actually prepared, ready for it. And there's a relationship happening there with somebody outside the university, but who comes and gets their little fix every year at Comic Con. The kind of the quasi-academic content that we generate.
So you think fan panels have fans?
Yes.
There you go. How meta is that?
Have a convention for the fans of the convention.
Wow. No, it's absolutely true. And likewise, interviewing on the main stage, you can see the real love and affection that the audiences, the fans, have for some of these characters. And Gemma Redgrave was excellent in sort of really sort of encouraging that. Like she saw some familiar faces. No, she saw some familiar faces that had already been seen her at the signing table. They came up, they were front and center, ready for their question, and she said, "Oh, hello," and that made their day. It's like, I know you, I remember you, and they got to ask their questions. She was really enamored by that, and that experience lives on for many years, I think. And it's not just about the day, but it's about preparation and then the after effect of the day, isn't it? Yeah. So we've got some ideas for next year, Portsmouth Comic Con. Any ideas for some of that? You mentioned maybe more activities beforehand. What could we as a university or department practitioners and academics put into use for next year before Comic Con?
Yeah, I mean, this year we had our kind of symposium
Yeah.
day, but broadening that out, including more students in it. And, you know, people here are creative and want to let their I don't want to say freak flag, or what would it be, nerd flag fly. Maybe cosplay events.
Yeah.
Some kind of, you know, cosplay social might be fun.
Okay.
I don't know what
Yeah, maybe a comic creating workshop.
Workshop. Yeah.
One
for students.
For students and staff. Teach us some stuff.
Oh yeah, if you want to come along, we do that in illustration society.
Okay.
Just repeat the same thing over.
But yeah, because I can't draw. So
Oh come on.
teach me to draw. I'm not a creative person, no music, no drawing. But that could be good. Something, again, bring more students in. Do you think, you know, there's a real connection, there's a real opportunity for other students in sort of art and design to participate next year?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, some of our friends in the society showed up to the workshop.
Oh, excellent.
They loved it.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Well, thanks again, blokes, guys,
Folks.
That's what it's so. Thanks again, folks. It's been really interesting and entertaining. Thank you again for sharing your experience. Some of us have been doing this for quite some time, but every year gets more entertaining and just more fun. So thanks again, and Phoebe, for your first time, I hope you come back for another Comic Con. Maybe go to some others, and ours is the best. But thanks again. That's all we have time for today. If you have any questions about what we've been talking about, absolutely put them in the comment section below this on YouTube, and subscribe to CCI TV so you can watch future episodes of Pop Matters. But for now, my thanks go to Emma Austin. Thank you very much. John Caro.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kellyanne Kerr. Thank you. And Pheobe Holden. Thank you very much. We've been discussing Portsmouth Comic Con, the Director's Cut, because pop matters.